what he's really doing, he's just breaking your will. Like he's breaking the thing in you that is like, I got this. It's all on me. I can control my situation and I can control everything that goes on in my life because I can make the decisions and I have the final say. Yeah, no, he's breaking that. That's what the pruning season is. That's what the character building and development in private is. That is what the wilderness season looks like. It's a breaking. It's a dying to self. It's a dying to your flesh. It's a dying to all your worldly desires that you don't even know you have. And it's God replacing it with his word, with himself, with his spirit. He's awakening your spirit man that has been dead for so long and you didn't even know it. Hi, welcome back to Faith Walk It Out with Ness. I am your host, Ness. And I hope that you've had a beautiful day thus far. You know, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe so you can be notified when new content has arrived, as this is a channel where we are all journeying together and we are faith walking it out with the Lord. And we're not just living life out blindly, and we say no to comparison. You feel me? And we are just journeying together and leaning on the Lord for all things. Because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So I'm excited to get into the nitty gritty and this topic because this was like a huge way that I saw my identity just growing up, and I'm still honestly like working on certain things, but I want to talk about building our character and character development that takes place in private. And you know, the wilderness seasons, the pruning seasons, and really just them hard, gut-wrenching, like, Lord, get me out of this, like I'm in the wilderness for 40 years type of feel. And how God works all that together, why that kind of happens. Also too, I want to share, before I came back to God, I would get so much like unwanted attention and also inappropriate attention, like I'm gonna go there. But when I would get like all this unwanted attention, how when I was developing my character in private, like once I came out of those pruning seasons with the Lord, then I started to see, like I started attracting different people. And I don't know if you ever heard that saying, like, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And I first heard that like 4 years ago, maybe. And I was like, that low-key kind of got some truth to it. Like, that kind of makes sense. And now that I've lived it, and I'm on the other side where I actually do attract people that I want, friendships, and you know, even though I'm still single, but like the dudes that I attract, I see it's way different than it was like, let's say 7+ years ago. Praise the Lord. And even just like mentors and different people. So let's get into it. Even before I would attract unwanted attention, I would want to attract attention. Any type of attention I could get, because I had so much going on within me and just insecurities and different voids I was trying to fill, and I was trying to distract all the time. In those times of life, I was like teenager, you know, college type of vibe. I would want the attention, and so I would attract any and every attention, because that's where I was at. Then when I started growing up more, like post-college or at the end of college, I just started like maturing more. So then I was like, I don't necessarily like certain things, but I still attract those type of people and that type of behavior. And it was because I was still there and I was still acting the same ways they were, but my mind was just kind of maturing. And then at 23, when I like came back to the Lord for real, and laid it all down, then my spirit man started to come alive. And I started to mature in the things of the Lord and just learn like this whole new world, it felt like. And even then, I still would attract the same type of people. And I'm like, I don't really want this anymore. Like, I came to a point where I'm like, I don't know why I'm attracting these type of people, whether it's friendships, whether it's, you know, romantic prospects, whether it was the environments that I was in. Certain type of people would approach me and, you know, I was just like, I don't really like this. this. And I guess I'll be specific. So I'm specifically thinking about like when I would be at the club, and then, you know, certain dudes would try to approach me and I'm like, I'm not really on that type of vibe. But my actions would tell them otherwise. You know what I mean? So I was maturing mentally, I was maturing spiritually, but in my physical body, what I'm wearing, how I'm like looking at people, literally where I'm at, your actions tell a different story, if you will. It don't matter what your mouth's saying. Look where you're at. Look what you're doing. Like, you kind of drunk right now. Like, so you're not gonna attract someone who doesn't go to clubs anymore because you're literally in a club type of vibe. And even girls, like I would attract some very vibrant personality, those type of personalities. And though I do have a calm side to my personality, when I'm out and about and out there, I'm not calm. Like, you know, I'm still in these environments and everything, but I was still growing. Then it wasn't until like I fully gave that to the Lord and came back to him, like for real. That was when I told you in my testimony videos, like I went radical for the Lord and I changed up so many different things, like immediately, in an attempt to find peace. And when I did that, I was no longer in those environments where I would attract those type of people. That took care of, I would say, 40 to 50% of the problem, where I was, you know, attracting certain type of people in a certain type of environment. I'm no longer in that environment. I have removed myself, and now I'm in different environments. I'm at the gym. That was about it. I didn't really go nowhere. Wait. Oh, you know, because it was COVID. That's what had happened. It was COVID for the first like 2-3 years when I came back to the Lord. Okay, well, post that, I still didn't really go nowhere. It was just like church, work, school at the time, and the gym. I was barely at the grocery store because I was still learning how to cook at that point. So yeah, I didn't really go too many places, but hey, that's a good thing because you're not attracting like just any and everybody, and any and everybody doesn't have access to you. You carry yourself in a different type of way, you will attract that type of person. But I didn't necessarily know that. Like, I think it was head knowledge, but it wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna apply this to my life, because honestly, I didn't think it was that important. But now that I'm on the other side of it, it is so important. And it stems from, the key to this is your character. Your character building that happens in private, when nobody is looking. That's what integrity is, right? Integrity is when you do the right thing when nobody knows. Nobody's looking. Nobody's checking for you. They're not asking if you did X, Y, and Z in the right way. Like, your integrity says, yes, it is just me, myself, and I who knows about this, and I did it respectfully. I did it right unto the Lord. Man, that is priceless. You can't buy integrity. I know y'all know. Y'all go in different environments, different events, different everything, and you see integrity is like very hard to find nowadays. Humility is very hard to find nowadays. Everybody wants to be that person. They want to be famous. They want to be this. They want to be that. And it's like, you want to be all that, but your character is literally so underdeveloped. We need to sit down and work on that, you know? The character building that took place in private for me was such a game changer, because I would go to the Lord about the people that I would attract and the unwanted attention I was getting from people just in all walks of life. Then, unbeknownst to me, I thought God was just gonna easily like remove said people and, you know, just do his thing in that area. But no, instead he gave me an opportunity to grow. Oh. I mean, right? His ways are higher than our ways. Gave me an opportunity to forgive those who mishandled my heart. Gave me opportunities to grow in my patience, grow in my integrity, grow in humility. Those are like one of the most painful lessons to learn in the very beginning, I would say, with the Lord. Because it gets easier and easier over time. Because then what he's really doing, he's just breaking your will. Like he's breaking the thing in you that is like, I got this. It's all on me. I can control my situation and I can control everything that goes on in my life because I can make the decisions and I have the final say. Yeah, no, he's breaking that. That's what the pruning season is. That's what the character building and development in private is. That is what the wilderness season looks like. It's a breaking. It's a dying to self. It's a dying to your flesh. It's a dying to all your worldly desires that you don't even know you have. And it's God replacing it with his word, with himself, with his spirit. He's awakening your spirit man that has been dead for so long and you didn't even know it. There is so much that goes on spiritually when you're in that character building phase that I honestly think we will never know, but you don't really see it until you come out of the pruning season and out of the wilderness, and you only come out when God feels like you have learned all that you were supposed to learn in that season. Of course, we want it to happen quicker than it typically does. Like I think my first wilderness season was like 2 years. Like years. It was a while, and I didn't have a name to put to it. I had never heard of a wilderness season or pruning or anything like that, the refining fire of the Lord. So I was going through all that. And in the midst, because typically like God will separate you from man, like he'll separate you from people while you're going through that season. So I couldn't really see my progress, you know, in that area of like, who am I attracting now? Because I was becoming someone in God's eyes, a version of myself I've never even seen before. So I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what it looked like. Again, didn't know who I was attracting because I wasn't around anybody. Like he had me so just locked in and secluded and just with him. So let's say fast forward after the 2+ years where the world was at that time, like now the world is now no longer on lockdown. We ain't got no economic issues going on. And so now I have opportunities to go out in the world again and see how I react and how I respond in different situations and scenarios. Also too, I want to note real quick that back in the day, I would attract unwanted attention, and I look back on it and like, I didn't necessarily do anything. Like certain things were just people being inappropriate. So I'll share this because it's just ringing in my mind right now. I experienced something where I was in college. I had a mentor who I saw as like a second father, and he was just that, like a second father. I was like the president of a club. He was the advisor. You know, we would have lunch together here and there. I knew his wife. I knew his kids. Like he had kids my age. And like, I was just like learning so much from him. He was a mentor. And we had obviously a very close relationship if I see him as a second dad. So I was 19 when we met, graduated college at 21. So post-college, we're still in contact for like years after that. And, you know, he would call me here and there and we would be cool. Everything was gravy, you know, for the first 2 years. But then unbeknownst to me, because, you know, I was also, again, 19, trying to find my identity. I'm just out here wilding again. So obviously, I mean, he's on a college campus. He knows what happens in college type of thing. So, you know, the way I would dress back in the day was very revealing. You know, the way I would talk, you could tell where my mind was at. In many different aspects. Then I graduate. I mean, yeah, granted, I'm getting older, but this is a grown married man, like I just said. So he would start to try to get real comfy with me. Like in the sense of, I specifically remember I was going to visit the college, picked him up. I mean, this wasn't unusual. Like his car was in the shop. I go pick him up and then he's like, oh, let's go have lunch. I'm like, cool. I pick him up from the campus. And so we go off campus to go to a lunch. He opens the door to this place. I walk in. It is a dim lit Japanese restaurant. Like I'm talking candlelit, very romantic, if I can just be blunt. And I can, so I will. And so, you know, I'm here. I'm like 22. Ain't no turning back now. Like, okay. So I peep that. I go on about the conversation, you know, and it was cool and everything, you know, laughing, talking, deep conversations and insight. And then so I drive him back to campus because he got to go see other students. And as I said, he's an advisor. And so he about to get out the car, and I was up in that area for like a few more days, I think, until I had to go home. He was like, so you're gonna call me tomorrow so we can hang out again? And I was like, well, my schedule's kind of busy, but I was like, I mean, if I have time, then yes, like I definitely will. And this grown man looked at me in a way that was very like a boyfriend would look at you. And he was like, no, you're not gonna call me tomorrow? Like, I'm not gonna see you tomorrow? And I just reiterated myself, and I was like, I mean, I'll let you know. Like, hopefully I can. I'm gonna try, but I don't know. And then he was like, okay. Like, just very disappointed type of thing. So then he gets out the car, we say whatever, and then looks in my window one more time, because he think I'm a little hard of hearing at that point, and was like, all right, so tomorrow. And I was like, yeah. And then so that was it. I roll up my little window, and I start talking to the Lord. And at this point, I wasn't even like fully surrendered. Like I didn't come back to the Lord yet. But I was like, oh, what was that, Lord? And you know, we're spiritual beings first. So you can feel when something ain't right. And I was like, this don't feel right. Like this whole encounter was like romantic, all the things. Then other things will kind of happen, like where in my naivety, and I'm sharing all this because again, I didn't ask for like any inappropriate encounter to happen. I ain't asked for no grown married man with kids my age to start to like me or anything like that. I didn't ask for any of this. But because my character was like underdeveloped, I didn't know how to communicate certain boundaries. Hence, I tell you, I was uncomfortable in that car, but I didn't know how to stand up for myself. I didn't know what to say. You know, he's a grown man. I'm a little girl. Like, I didn't know. But if my character had been developed in that moment, I would know how to set you a very strong, firm, but in love, spoken boundary that says, do not try me. Don't play with me. I know what you're trying to do. So because my character wasn't developed, unfortunately, it invited more, like I said, unwanted attention, inappropriate encounters that I didn't know how to handle. I know for a fact I'm not the only one. I mean, we see all these stories coming out of people who do what they do in private with younger kids and, you know, all these different things. So again, like I said, people are getting exposed. The Lord is not playing, and we got to get right before we literally get left, because God is about to do a shaking in this earth, and we need to prepare. That includes preparing and building your character now. When God moves suddenly, if you ain't ready, you just wasn't ready. And that's wild. So we need to make sure we get ready. So build your character now, do the hard work. Just do it, because it's gonna help you as you get older. It's gonna help you in the end. It's gonna help you in any relationship that you choose to either be in romantically and get married or remarried. If you choose to have kids or have more kids, that's gonna help you. Family ties, that's gonna help. Friendships, everything. Like, you take you with you everywhere you go. You the common denominator. So we really need to take care of and prioritize just investing in ourselves and our well-being and our mental state, our emotional state, our spiritual state, our physical state. Pya! Like, hit all four of them things. But yeah, by the grace of God, God kept me. You know, I've put myself in different situations, whether it's club situations, bar situations, just out in the streets. I don't need to go into the details of it and the depths, because, you know, that's neither here nor there. But when you've seen those things, you've gone through those things, you're able to heal from those things and give it to God, then God will literally take you back and show you where you were before and how you acted in certain situations. And again, like I said, because your character, your integrity, it's just not developed yet, you see the trickling effects, and you see what happens when you attract people who you don't necessarily want to be attracted to you. But we have to realize, like, it might not just be a problem with everybody in the world. It might just be that it's a screaming sign and signal from the Lord that you need to build you. You need to work on you. You need to heal those insecurities. You need to get delivered from certain spirits and demons if they're in there, okay? And, you know, there's the 4 legions of demons. The 4 strongholds are rejection, the spirit of pride, which is Leviathan. There's Jezebel, which is lust and manipulation and witchcraft and all that, also tied into pride. And then there's fear, the spirit of fear. That's the python spirit. Just like a python, a snake wraps its body around its prey and squeezes the life out of it. The python spirit, it keeps you so fearful, so doubtful, so anxious that you are paralyzed to move. Like that spirit got a hold on you. Again, I'm still learning on it, but that stuff really does like intrigue me. So I'm gonna continue to learn about it. Okay. And once we get delivered from certain things, we break the strongholds off of so many different things. We get healing in different areas. We're no longer insecure. We're no longer bound by our past. We're no longer bound by religion. Like we don't put God in a box anymore. We're really here to become whole, healthy people who have developed in private so much with the Lord that it's not a question of how we're going to respond to somebody in love who really does try us, because people will try you. Meaning they will try to get you out of your character. They will try to make you feel some type of way. They'll try to offend you. They'll try to steal, kill, and destroy. Don't that sound familiar? People will try to steal, kill, and destroy the things that God is trying to build, plant, and water in your life, not because it's the person. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against demons and principalities, rulers in high places. So we're never fighting against the person. That's why God says love your enemies, because it ain't them. It's the demons, it's the principalities, it's the rulers in high places, it's the spiritual things that are going on behind the scenes that we need to pray against and we need to overtake. Like we are literally children of God. We have the authority in Christ Jesus. We just need to learn how to wield our swords. Like we got the sword. We have it in our hands. We have the shield of faith. Like we literally have the whole armor of God. We have the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the boots of peace, the belt of truth, the shield of faith, and the sword of the Spirit. So we use the sword of the Spirit to cut and wield off any and every fiery dart that the enemy will throw, and he throws them every day and night. So if the devil came to steal, kill, and destroy our joy, our peace, our love, our goodness, our kindness, our gentleness, everything about us, if he came for us, we need to be ready. We need to be prepared. And in order to do that, we need to learn how to control ourselves. We need to die to our flesh, but character building is a key. I feel like that may possibly be step one, because a lot of times we're our own worst enemy. Like I said, like I wanted to not have this inappropriate attention and experiences from people. I didn't want a lot of attention from a lot of people I was getting it from. I had no idea it started with me. If somebody sat me down and told me what I'm literally saying now, like it starts with you, Ness. Like I hope you know that. You attract not what you want, but you attract who you are. I would be like, oh, for real? I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. Let me get me right. Okay, so how do I do this? Like, you know? So much to learn, so much to grow in. It's so exciting because like the Lord ain't playing out here. Like he really fights for his children, and the Lord is always protecting us always and forever. And we need to learn how to protect ourselves. You know, we need to learn how to speak out when we feel very uncomfortable, when we're in a very weird situation. We need trusted people we can go to. And I'm excited to continue to see how the Lord is gonna just move in the earth and really rectify and restore all the things that we feel were lost in our lives, because restoration is coming. And honestly, restoration is here if you're just willing to take it. Do the work with the Lord. Give it all to him. Cast your cares unto the Lord because he cares for you. And he says, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden. Give me your burdens, for I will give you rest. My yoke is easy. My burdens are light. He's inviting you, like, come in, give it to me, give it all to me. I want it all. God wants it all. So why don't we just give it to him? Let's take it from me. It really does transform you. Okay. And now I be at the gym. Okay. I be at wherever I be. And I notice it. I'm literally attracting the complete opposite of the type of people I used to attract. And it is so freeing, honestly. I feel liberated. Okay, I feel so free because now with the way I carry myself in the gym, I'm polite. I don't even listen to music. Just because I need to be aware of my surroundings. You feel me? I don't wear them all the time, but a lot of my shirts, they got Jesus on it. They got like the cross on it. They got a little scripture. So, and it's mostly dudes, you know, 90% dudes. So I'm walking and they see like, oh, okay, I see what she repping, but I'm sure they're like, I don't know if it's real or not, but I'm still polite. And then, you know, I wave, I say hi, I might have like conversation with certain people, but it's like the hood people that be up in the gym, they don't even approach me no more. Like, you know, I see them looking, especially at my shirts, but like they don't even try to step. But it's like back in the day, those were the only type of dudes I would attract. Like, and again, didn't know it started with me. So man, God is just so gracious to allow me to see that and catch that revelation like not too long ago. Cause I was like, wow, I'm really sitting up here in the gym having conversations about people about God. Like, and we talking, you know? I'm like, okay, these are actual fruitful conversations, you know, not just, oh, dude see me, he think I look good, he trying to holler at me, because, you know, I am fully exposed as I'm working out because of what I chose to put on my body or lack thereof. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we got to be locked in with the Lord, build our character, move in grace, mercy, goodness, and kindness to each other. We're all God's children. So on that note, love y'all. Thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next video. Be safe. Talk to the Lord. Let me know in the comments what revelations you get as well from the Lord about your character building process. Okay, bye. Hi, welcome. Oh, wait. Skirt. Let me see if I remember the arm guy. We have the, I'll be like, are you in the kitchen?
You can hear that?
Yeah, I can hear all that, but it's fine for the video. It's just, I'm about to share something kind of vulnerable, so.